Hi, boys and girls. Today is Monday, March the 30th, and we're going to be working on page 233 and 234. If you go up to the top, we're going to put your name on the top of your paper. We're still keeping in practice with this. And today we're going to also be talking about special adjectives. On Friday, we were talking about adjectives also, and there was a section that you guys were having a difficult time with, and we're going to cover that section again down here in the middle of your page. So just make sure that you follow the video very well as we go through this section. But let's start at the top. The words and the are special adjectives called articles. So let's go over that again. And then the word the are special words that are called, they're special adjectives called articles. You use the word with singular nouns and adjectives that begin with a consonant, like a whirling tornado or a column of air. So if you'll notice that the word behind the article it begins with a consonant. But you use the word an with singular nouns and adjectives that would begin with a vowel. And this is just a review. You guys have learned this before, but an will go in front of words that start with vowels, like an uncontrollable tornado or an air column or such as these. But then let's talk about one more. You use the word the with any singular or plural noun. So the storms or the air pocket. So it doesn't really matter with the word the whether the word following it starts with a consonant or if it starts with a vowel. So let's keep going on and look at the next section. Demonstratives. This is kind of an interesting word. Demonstratives are pronouns used as adjectives. They point out the position of objects, persons, or places. For example, this heavy one. This is the demonstrative. This heavy one. You can have this, or it could be that heavy one, or these heavy winds, or those heavy winds. So these are your demonstratives. This, that, these, and those. So, for example, this wind is not this heavy. This wind is blowing these shirts. Or those birds. Those is pointing to birds. And those birds are flying away quickly. So let's look at the next section. It says a proper adjective. Now we know proper means it's capitalized. So a proper adjective is formed from a proper noun. For example, a Canadian meteorologist watches for tornadoes. Well, Canada is a proper noun. Well, this is a proper noun also. It's because it's the people, or it's a Canadian meteorologist. It's formed from proper nouns. Always capitalize a proper adjective. Now let's talk about this section right here. I put a little bit more light on my video right here. It says in a diagram, all adjectives, so all adjectives, including special adjectives like articles or demonstratives or proper adjectives, all adjectives such are placed on slanted lines below the noun or pronoun that they describe. Well, this is what I was not seeing on Friday. I saw people labeling your sentence on the line, but you weren't actually diagramming the words on the lines here. And this is what diagramming looks like when you actually, like right here, we've done this in class. The simple subject goes first. In this sentence right here, the Spanish boy saw that whirling tornado. You ask yourself, who is really the subject? It's boy. So what do I do with the word the in Spanish, Miss Alks? Well, the is an article and it's an adjective. It's a special adjective. We put it at a slant underneath the simple subject. And yes, if it's capitalized in the sentence, we're going to capitalize it in the diagram. So capitalize the word the and put it on a slant below the simple subject. Spanish. Spanish is what we were talking about just a second ago, a proper adjective. Spanish. It actually points to the simple subject boy also. So Spanish, it stays capitalized, it's a proper adjective, and it goes at a slant below the simple subject. So now the verb always goes in the middle right here. And the verb here is saw. This is an action verb that you can actually do. The boy saw. So saw is the verb. And then right here it says if it has a direct object, you're supposed to put the direct object on this part of the line. And this sentence does have a direct object. The Spanish boy saw that whirling tornado. What did the boy really see? He saw a tornado. So that is the direct object. And what do we do with these two words, Miss Alks? That and whirling. Well, that is a demonstrative. We just talked about it up here. This, that, these, or those. So that is a special adjective also, and it goes at a slant right here below the direct object tornado. And whirling. Whirling is an adjective also that describes the tornado. So we put it at a slant underneath tornado. So we've used all the words in the sentence. Sometimes you may want to check to make sure if there is a prepositional phrase in the sentence and mark that, because if there's a prepositional phrase, you don't have to diagram that. For example, we're not diagramming these right here, but I just want to use this sentence just for example. American cold air often comes from Canada. From Canada is a prepositional phrase. It did not tell us to mark the prepositional phrases, but marking your prepositional phrases is always a good thing to do because it takes these two words out of the equation and you don't even have to really think about them. So it says, underline all the adjectives, including articles, demonstratives, and proper adjectives. Draw an arrow from each adjective to the noun that it describes. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to find the subject. The subject is air right here. That's the subject, okay? So what's describing the word air? American. That's one of those proper adjectives. It's describing air. Cold. It's describing air. So American cold air often comes from Canada. There's nothing else on that sentence that we need to mark. Okay, so let's look at number 2. Those wild thunderstorms can form these destructive tornadoes. Well, what is your subject? What's your simple subject? Thunderstorms. So that's your subject. You don't have to mark that as subject, but I'm doing that just so I can remind myself. Okay, so what describes thunderstorms? Those. Those is one of the special adjectives that's called demonstratives. If you look up at the top, It's the second section where it says that describes these, okay? So those describes thunderstorms, and wild describes thunderstorms. So you have two adjectives that are pointing towards to thunderstorms. So those wild thunderstorms can form these destructive tornadoes. So thunderstorms can form what? Tornadoes. Tornadoes is your direct object. That's your direct object. So is there anything describing this direct object? Yes. This word right here, these, this is a demonstrative. These tornadoes. How about anything else? Destructive. Oops, I was supposed to underline it. Destructive tornadoes. So that describes tornadoes. So you have to actually kind of ask yourself questions when you're doing this. And let's look at the bottom section. Okay, I wrote this over to the side because we're going to talk about this in just a second. It says, label the sentence pattern SV or SVDO or SLVPA. We'll do that as we're looking through it right now. We're going to label it above the words, not on this line. We're going to label it above the words. The funnel cloud looked dusty. So what's the subject? What are we really talking about right here? Yes, it's a cloud. So that's your subject. And what's the verb? Yes, it's looked. It's looked. But I need to talk about this word right here. Can a cloud actually show the action of looking at something? No. So it's not an action verb here. This is a linking verb. And this is the reason I wrote this over to the side. If you can substitute this word right here, looked, with the word am, is, or are, and the sentence sounds correct, it's a linking verb. So if I could say, the funnel cloud is dusty. See, I just substituted it with this word is. If it still makes sense, then it's a linking verb. So this right here, guys and girls, is a linking verb. Okay, so cloud looked dusty. Is dusty a noun or is it an adjective? Yes, it's an adjective. So it's in the predicate part, which is past the, if I was like cutting the sentence, cloud's the subject, cut, looks the verb, dusty, this is the predicate part of the sentence. This would be the predicate adjective, okay? So now we're going to diagram the sentence. The funnel cloud looked dusty. So cloud is your subject, cut, looked is your linking verb. Okay, we're going to draw our line facing, like going back to the word cloud. And what did it look? Dusty. This is your predicate adjective. So cloud looked dusty. So we've used cloud looked dusty, but we haven't used these two words right here. What do we do with these two words? We're going to diagram them. Where do we put them? Well, these two words, this is an article, it's a special adjective. We put it right here at a slant, and we make sure we capitalize it because it's capitalized in the sentence. The, and then funnel. Funnel is describing the cloud also, so we're going to put it underneath here, funnel. So, the funnel cloud looked dusty. So this is what the back should look like. Okay, some of you are just putting SVDO or whatever on your diagramming sentence line the other day, and that's not what you're really supposed to be doing. So I'm going to flip this over, and we're going to do